Casa Querencia here in Roswell, New Mexico. If you're familiar with Roswell, it is northwest of town, a little bit west of Spring River Park and Zoo. This will be the site of the riding competition here. We have 12 riders slated to compete in the riding portion of our pentathlon. A warm-up period right now as the riders get a chance to test out the horses that they have drawn, see what their capabilities are, and see how their capabilities match up with their horses. While they're doing that, we'll run through the course here real quick in the jumps. So this is our court. The starting gate there, you can see the man with the straw hat. That's where they will enter in at. Gain some speed right around the outer rim of the edge. But you see the pylons here, and barely see the one there behind the jump. That will be the starting line. Or where the time will begin for this, and that is the first jump right there. From there they will come back, see where the man in the gray is right there, and then they will take, this is jump number 2. We love to ride, or live to ride. Then they've got the double jumps, 3A and 3B. A hard back to the cross jump here, that is 4. Then they usually will come all the way through here. There is jump number 5, right there. Make a nice wide turn, gather a little bit of speed for the double or the flower box jump. A little bit longer jump than some of the other ones. Most of them will continue all the way through and then make the turn. Go around those jumps, and the in stretch, there's the turn, jump on number 7, continue along that pathway there, jump 8 there behind jump number 1, and the final, jump number 9, and our pylons there indicating the finish line. Of course, a point system, every player or every athlete begins with 300 points to start off with. 60 seconds is the mark time, no bonus for getting underneath that time like it is in the swimming portion, but as long as you make it 60 seconds or less, you're not penalized anything beyond that, 1 second equals a 1-point penalty. If you trip one of the rails, it's 1 or 7 points for each rail that your horse trips up on. And then there's other faulting points. And if we see some of those, I'll explain those. Like I said, in the warm-up period here, some of the players still walking the course, others already on their horses as they're in that first group ready to ride. Test jumps out there for the players to check them out. Plenty of open space to figure out the cadence and the gallop and the other characteristics of their horse. There's Coach Bocher there in the blue. Great job by the people at Casa Querencia here today, as it was yesterday. It is overcast here in Roswell with rain threatening. The forecast says that at 4 o'clock we're supposed to get some stuff in. Not yet 1 o'clock here in Roswell, so we've got some time. The question is, we're going to be able to get in the combo part. Wind is kind of blowing a little bit of an angle to the camera, coming into the lens there and from the left. Once again, if you're familiar with Roswell, our camera's pointing almost due south right now. So coming from the southeast, which is pretty typical for Roswell. I think that we'll have Nathan Scrimshire, the 2016 Olympian. He'll be helping me out with the broadcast today, if I can solicit his services. That means I'll probably be running the camera and turning over the mic mostly to him, let him do the commentary. Yesterday, big thanks to Alex Olasinski. Olasinski, the eldest son of Coach Jan Olasinski. Actually, check that. The youngest son, right? Merrick is his oldest. Alex went to UCLA to go play basketball on a basketball scholarship, and as he told viewers yesterday, if he tuned in, played in the 4 spot. Big man, 6'10", but with a great touch from the outside, hence the 4-guard slide, or the 4 slide. Yes, I would love it. There is the man himself. I was just, his ears must have been burning. Very good. Now, would you prefer I can run the camera or you can run the camera? Either way, we've got the mic right here. You can grab it if you'd rather.
I haven't done the camera.
You want to do it? I mean, you're welcome to. And you can still, like I said, it's just right there, so it'll pick both of us up just fine. And yeah, any commentary you care to give, and you can sit if you want to, and so that, or we could try and lower the camera. I can't do it a whole lot lower than that, I don't think.
That's like the Zoom.
Yes, that's a little rocker, exactly, and it's nice and smooth, as you see. Yeah. We actually got a pretty decent camera, so.
Is that okay? I don't want to.
Wherever you want to put it, like I said, I was just focusing the warm-up area since we're waiting on that right now, but we are live, so.
We're live, all right.
We are live already.
I guess the athletes have like 20 minutes to warm up with their horses.
Okay.
Unless any rules have changed in the past 4 years, which I don't think they have. But 20 minutes to kind of get acquainted with your equine friend, and then you go into the competition arena.
I like that term. Very nice. Now, what are you looking for? I mean, whenever you're riding, what are you trying to ascertain?
Well, I mean, in training and preparation of competition, you just try to ride a lot of horses, just to kind of get familiar with different, personality types of horses. Really honest, is what you can attribute it to. But in competition, I try to I'm really thinking more about the arena and what the course looks like.
Gotcha.
I'm more worried about forgetting the course, and that's where you can just make some silly mistakes that cost you dearly.
And we saw it yesterday. The first runner missed jump number 7. Of course, that disqualified her completely.
Because I when I was competing, I was more focused on just remembering the course. I was always more nervous about that than actually what kind of horse I got, because I knew I could ride. But
now, is a typical course 9 jumps like this? Is this pretty standard, or does it differ from course to course?
No, unless again anything's changed, but 15 jumps is how we would compete. You have two obstacles where you have like a doubles and a triple jump.
Like our
here
3A,
for this
3B
national,
there.
yeah, we have instead of this way by the local organizers, but 15 jumps is pretty standard.
Pretty standard, okay. We only have 9 here unless they're going to double back somewhere, and
I don't believe.
Okay.
15 jumps counts the double B and the triple BC, so that's how you get 15. It's 12 number fences. Like here, there's 9 number fences. For the B elements, you actually have 10 jumps.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. That's true. I wasn't counting. I was counting 3A, 3B as a single. You're right. Okay.
But yeah, this is kind of where you're trying to making sure your tack and your saddle and all your equipment's kind of ready for the horse or for the ride, so that nothing like messes up on you. And then, yeah, for me, anyways, I was always going over in my head how it would look like on the horse.
What line you want to take to the next jump, about how much speed you want to be getting, you know, to make sure you get your horse in time, that kind of thing.
And you can kind of see it on the, and they have like in the warm-up arena you have 2 jumps, one that's set up with a vertical straight up and down jump, and then an oxer, which is a wider jump, so the horses can
Now explain the wider jump. Is that like wider, you mean like in length terms, or?
wider and just the width, you know, like the vertical jump, horse has to jump the height, but in a oxer jump, the horse has to jump the height plus the width.
First person scratch.
Okay, so Roy Reyes will not be competing. All right. So, like for example, the flower box jump would be an example of the wider jump.
Correct.
There's 2 rails, both horizontally rather than vertically. Okay.
And then the athletes get up to 5 jumps in warm up, and then after that they have to wait till the horse or the organizers call them in, or if they jump over that, that's not good.
Bad. Don't upset the owners of the horse. This is the place that you're at. Right. Well, our first group had 4 people. It's now down to 3. Roy Reyes has scratched, and then we will have Keith Berryhill, Mark Cole, and Daniel Crowley. And I'm going to guess that this is set up the way it has been with the swimming and with the fencing. As we continue on in the broadcast, we'll start to get the point totals. So we're going from the least number of points to the most number of points, correct?
Correct. Yeah, the first athletes it'll be your lower rank over the day, and then as you progressively go down, those are your higher rank athletes.
Okay. As a matter of fact, yep, our last one will be our I heard somebody say 4-time Olympian, but I also heard somebody say 5-time Olympian. So 4, it is 4.
Tokyo's 4.
All right, so Tokyo will be for the 4th. Okay, so Tokyo's 4 for Amro El Jaziri. Sorry, and said his name so many times and now I'm mispronouncing it. Oh, and also on this sheet, I just got notice from the horse trainer. She came over and showed me. It's not Anuk, it's Amuk. It's not an N, it's so an M instead of an N there. The name of the person that ended up winning the total fence, that fenced last, it was not El Jaziri, it was
I believe it's Mark. Barrett Cole. Barrett Cole
okay.
had a good fence this morning. But like the decathlon is not over until we cross the finish line, so fencing's behind now. Everyone's having to focus on what's at hand and what's the right.
All right. You want to explain the point system here and for
Yeah, again, unless anything's changed, but it's how athletes are given. All the athletes start off with the same amount of points, which is 300 points, and then based off time penalties, if they're overtime, they how many points do they lose for overtime? Is it 1 point per second? And then if a pole is knocked down, that is 7 points knocked down.
Other mistakes, 10. All other mistakes.
Okay. 7 points deducted for a pull down, and that's taken away from the original 300. So if you do well, you'll come out with 300 points, but everything else is taken away if mistakes happen.
all right. So talk about your actual riding experience at the 2016 Olympics. What was that? How was that?
Well, I mean, it was the Olympics, so it was just a great and awesome experience. But the ride for me was, I remember I had 3 poles knocked down, so 21 points lost, and then I think I had some time penalties as well. So I lost some pretty valuable points in the ride. But you know, for me, it was the Olympics. It was an experience altogether. I have no regrets. I did my best.
Yeah. How was the horse? Was it what you found a little bit difficult to ride?
The horse, I honestly thought, it was pretty difficult. It was a strong horse. Just was a very good jumper. It was very powerful. Just it rode well through the flat work in the course. But once it saw the jumps, it was like
ready to go.
Let's go. So I was just like trying to control it.
Yeah. Make sure you can get the next one
and keep it. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a very powerful horse, but I honestly kind of liked riding those more intense horses versus having someone that was kind of a lazy and just didn't really want to jump. You know.
Understood. Now, how do you get a horse to actually jump? I mean, I guess there are horses that have already been trained to some extent. They have to pass the muster. Oh, and we're ready to begin here.
Yeah.
So this is Keith Berryhill.
Keith Berryhill is out of Atlanta, Georgia. An old friend. So we look forward to watching him ride. Traditionally, you always have like the rider comes into the arena and salutes the judges' boxes, which is where the camera's at. And then the judges will send it off with a whistle. And does it zoom out any further? No, that's fine.
Yeah, you see the starting pylons there, so the first jump will be right. So they're just going the outside part of the arena.
So he's not on course yet, but once he goes to these cones that are coming into the first jump, that'll start the time.
Yes, sir.
And 300 points are on the line. And he's on course. Pull down.
So that'll be a 7-point penalty.
7-point deduction from those 300. Held on this there, and gonna push him, get him to the.
Oh, did you get started? You have your time here? This? 50 seconds.
And he's coming into the last few jumps. You still got to focus and keep your. So when an athlete falls off, the clock still runs.
I know. Okay, so we still
so-
got to worry about the time penalty.
so
in
time
addition
penalties
to
happen.
the 10-point.
And it was a refusal, so that is a 10-point deduction as well. So unfortunately for Keith, I mean, you can see how points can get taken away
Very
pretty
quickly,
quickly.
yes.
Yeah.
And on that last
And it's
jump.
and it's literally at the last jump, you know.
He can go. Finish line.
He's had 2 refusals.
Keith to the finish line. You can go through the finish line.
If you ever have 2 refusals on a jump, that means you can pass it.
Good job, Keith. Are you okay?
What?
Are you okay on the ground?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, no fine.
Okay.
Once again, Keith
Okay.
Berryhill riding.
I relaxed on the last fence.
Yeah, everything was good, you know.
You need to leave the arena.
Yeah. Okay, leave the arena.
Did I score?
Yeah. Okay. So just use 27 plus.
So Keith will be leaving the arena, and the next rider in
2 refusals to stay.
will be
30, 1 rail, 2 rails.
Mark is supposed to marry.
45, 45.
Mark Cole will be entering the arena once Keith has left. And Mark Holt. He'll be riding Dr. Owens.
228.
And again, the athletes always start each ride off with 300 points.
So as you probably heard the announcer on that, 228 will be the final score there for Keith Berryhill. After all the deductions for time.
How many points was it?
228.
228, yeah. So that's not good when you have that many points lost. For reference, at the Olympics, I finished 11th place and bronze medal was 21.5.
Oh my goodness.
So I
that's
lost
those
it in the
3
ride.
rails.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So at high level, that's how fast it goes. All right, he's not on course yet, but he's getting ready to come into that first jump. Once he crosses the lines of those cones you see there, that'll start the time. Stay straight through the jump, and he did.
He was going through that quick, wasn't he?
Pentathlon is stadium show jumping, so we don't get scored off of like form or style.
Gotcha.
It is just about getting over the jumps and time. It's
Clean and time, okay.
the other style of jumping, 100 jumping, which is not this, is you get points based off style as well. You know,
Okay.
like how you're.
How fast you go
Yeah,
into
well,
the
that, but you're also your I guess we call it equitation or your form, just how well you look on the horse.
Okay.
But here doesn't. You could.
Oh.
Yeah.
The gate, yes, and the hole. Ouch. Now, that was
we
after he
hope he's
crossed the
all right.
finish line, so there should be, I would imagine, no point deductions, and I hope he is okay. Ouch, he hit that hard.
The medics come over here. We got Roswell Medical. Should be on. Well, the docs are over there. They should
He passed the boards. He passed the boards. He's just waiting to start his residency. They have an EMS guy. Right? Doesn't touch his head. Touch it. We just want this guy to be there. Because he's trained for it.
Unfortunately, athletes falling off, but if it does happen where he's crossed through the line like he did, the points are still, he still keeps his points.
Okay, so he will finish with the 300 on this run. I'm sure that's a small consolation. Some consolation.
Other athletes will be waiting to see them and still continue their warm-up.
Yeah, you shifted the camera away. A little bit of pause in the action as Mark Coleman. By the EMS staff here in the arena. It's off of him, it's just not good. It's not good.
I have a focus on.
Is it on channel 2? Do you see a 2 on the front of the box?
Okay, let's allow him to ride it. Okay, thanks.
Or maybe we see some batteries inside of that box.
That's why you have EMS. Stuff out here because riding's riding and horses are horses. People are people. I mean, things happen. So you always gotta be ready.
Now, I'm assuming that you have been thrown from a horse during your course. As
Many times.
Okay.
I was fortunate. I never had any bad accidents, but it was always, that's part of the sport. It can happen. It looks like Mark, he's walking away right now, and he'll probably be hurt. Looks like he's bruised up a little bit.
Yeah,
I think he hit that pipe on the outside of the fence, but he's walking, so glad to see that. And he kept his point, so it's good to see him back in his team. So we got the next athlete coming back in. We're back, and it'll be Daniel Crowley, and he'll be riding Kudani Rubin. I think I said that right.
I think so, yes. Nicely done.
So he'll come up here to the judges box area and give his official "I'm ready."
See the name tag on the other side of the horse's saddle blanket. Key down for short.
Just still waiting for some times to get ready, and we'll be.
Daniel.
Yeah. Salute. Daniel, salute. Daniel, salute
Salute
when you're ready.
Am I good to go? Yeah, you
Salute.
just stop, you salute, and we blow the whistle and you go, okay?
All right, so Daniel Crowley beginning his run here. Aboard Kidani Rubin, or Kidam for short.
And right now you have 30 or 40 seconds to get to the start line,
Okay.
and that'll, if you take a long time to get to the start line, the points will start ticking after that 40 seconds. But he's already through that first jump. Looking good on this beautiful German bloodline horse here.
Yeah, look at that. Just nice, under control, good speed, but not so
Yeah.
fast.
Beautiful horse. Rider's doing well. Yep. Looking where he's going into the oxer here, the flowers. Nice clean jump. And coming into the final couple of jumps. But focus. And through the line. Nice ride. Very nice ride.
49 seconds.
300.
Dr. G say 49 seconds on the time. No bonus, of course, for being underneath that 60
Correct.
seconds.
But 300 points, so he'll have those going into the laser run, which will be later. And the next athlete into the arena will be Kurt Iverson, and he'll be riding horse with Warren.
by the way. Appreciate it.
This is good practice for you.
You're a lucky guy.
40 seconds until this that he has to get to the start, or if he gets there faster, he gets there
Warren was
faster.
one of the
Yeah.
horses that had a little bit of trouble yesterday for the first rider for the women.
And he's coming in with the trot. Usually you kind of want to try to come in with a nice canter into the first jump, but he might have his own strategy going on. So into the first jump.
I know Brian was the first to ride Warren yesterday and had a few problems and even got thrown from the horse.
Yeah, the riding is the
Look at that though, managed to pull it off. Nicely done.
riding's the equalizer of the sport.
Indeed. So one fall for the rail there, that'll be a 7-point deduction.
I think if he can just sit back, this horse is going to jump this course for him. He just needs to hold on to his seat. He's coming into the last few jumps here. And that's still to pull down and
Better than a refusal.
better than a refusal. So I'm going
Yes.
to pull down and he is leaving the arena with
286,
286
Two
points.
knockdowns. 58 seconds.
58 seconds on the time, 2 seconds underneath required.
As
2 rails down for the 286.
horse Warren is a beautiful horse, and the next athlete into the arena will be Jake Sinclair, and he'll be riding horse
It's actually an M, not an N, so.
Pamuk. Pamuk. All right. And
Sorry,
it's a beautiful horse, Pamuk. I've traveled a lot of places around the world and competed on some pretty cool horses, but for being here in small town Roswell, these are some pretty impressive horses.
Hold out.
Thanks for checking. It's all right. Yeah, exactly. It's not the end of the world.
And coming into the first jump. On a nice right lead, Jake and Pamuk. That'll be a refusal. Now time is still running. If you
Yes,
can, if
you
you
still
take
gotta-
those big rounding returns back to the jump, those costing you time. So if ideally, if you have a refusal, which you
Try
don't
and
want
cut
to
it
have,
back
but if you
pretty
do, you want to make you don't want to just take your time getting back to that jump. You want to make it a little bit faster. He's back on course. Coming in the last two jumps here. You want to keep the pressure, build a little more. Put the pull down, but across the line. They'll have some points taken away there. That'll be
74 seconds on the time, so that'll be a 14 point.
31.
he'll be
74 seconds. 269 score.
269.
so have 269 points of a possible 300. Next athlete in Serena after Jake will be Luke Coleman out of Washington, D.C., and he'll be riding Coffee Joe.
We've seen Coffee Joe. Well, actually, no, we haven't yet because Roy Reyes was scheduled to ride Coffee Joe, and Reyes scratched. So this will be the first run of the evening for Coffee Joe.
And Luke, he's a old friend and pentathlete. He works for the Washington Nationals out in DC. So
Okay.
maybe have a pentathlon connection for some tickets one of these days.
There you go. Yes, exactly. I could do that. Baseball and
Oh,
pentathlon.
yeah.
That'd be a great thing.
Here goes Luke into first jump on Coffee Joe. I like that name, Coffee Joe.
I do too.
Hold on, Luke. All right.
Sit down, sit down. Don't lean forward. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down.
He's still, if he can hold on, I mean, he held on, he can. And there's a refusal. So that is 10 points, and time is still ticking.
Why is his stirrup right stirrup?
I'm here to get the water.
And he got over that.
Sit down, Luke.
He doesn't have his weight in his stirrups. See? Heels back. His weight's not in the stirrups. He's trying to hold on to the knees.
And he's coming into the back 3 jumps
That's why he's
here. He hasn't fallen off, so that's.
But they didn't face the fence.
I don't know, in the old rules,
He hasn't crossed his back. He hasn't crossed his back.
That's not a refusal.
No.
No. So even though he
He
passed
went to
the jump,
outside.
it wasn't a refusal
Okay.
because he didn't cross over the same.
So it's all about the time. in that instance.
Yes. So time was taken away, and he had to pull down there at the end, but he has gotten through the ride. He'll have some
One refusal,
significant
one
points.
pull, and then the winner of the time.
52, so 248.
He'll be walking out with 248 points.
135 on the course
248.
and 248 points for the running.
Next athlete in will be Tyler Evans. He trains up in Colorado Springs, and that'll be on horse Eddie.
Eddie, you saw him already. The horse with Keith Berryhill.
Same like do the same as you did there.
So there's just a little bit of a delay with athletes. They're kind of getting their warmed up, so he'll probably be coming in here shortly, but not just yet. So we've got a little bit of
break in the action.
of respite. Respite or
You could say it either way. Your a respite works as well too. But yes. But I'm impressed. Good vocabulary, way to be.
Thank you. English is crazy language. All sorts of
It is. Well, it's an amalgam, just like pentathlon. You've got all the different influences and everything that runs into it. All right. So talk to us about the history of the writing portion. Where did this develop from?
Well, writing and pentathlon is like the pentathlon. It started off with a 19th century cavalry officer would have to be able to do in a combat situation. You know, your wheels were horses. You didn't have tanks or motorcycles or whatever. So you had a
No
horse.
mechanized infantry, but you had the infantry.
Yeah, so you had mounted cavalry and you had
Cavalry.
you had
Cavalry, sorry.
you had so you have to do this. You have to defend yourself with a sword and gun, and then be able to cross land or water. It's running and swimming, and then still be able to deliver a message to your commander in a potential combat situation. So the modern pentathlon was developed from real world scenarios. Used to be, and now it's developed into a sport that's been part of the Olympic program for well over 100 years.
Now tell us about your interest in pentathlon. How did that come about? You started training from a young age, I would guess, and slowly developed a love for it, or
Yeah, so I grew up here in Roswell, and my brother and I were supported by my mom and dad, and we were athletes. We met young Wilshits, and we organized this whole competition at the my years competing and training here in Roswell, I joined the Army myself and moved to Colorado, was part of the World Class Athlete program in Fort Carson, Colorado, and qualified for the 2016 games as an active duty soldier. Had a great time in the Army, and competed for a few years after that. Called it quits. I did for 15 years, so it was a lot of my life. Now I see on the flip side.
All right, so what do you do now? Now that you've, I won't say retired from the sport, but not competing competitively as much possibly.
I help a little bit with coaching and stuff. Teams, junior team, which is a lot of fun. But now I'm in residential real estate and kind of taking the back seat.
Now with the Army, did you complete your 4-year degree there through there? Or?
No, I was enlisted, so I really actually just shy, like 1 year shy of a bachelor's degree. But school wasn't for me, and I went for a little bit. The Army supported me with GI bill, but I thought I'd just wait for a later date if I decided to go back. Right now, I don't need
Nothing
it.
wrong with that, exactly.
And if I ever wanted the Army, even though I'm not, I'm still
You've got real world experience, which is, and I hate to downplay, the 4-year degree or a 2-year degree, since, the Institute, of course, we pride ourselves in the college we have, but that real world experience that you developed,
Well, I do in pentathlon when we like travel all the world and
that's,
people,
yes, exactly.
cultures, and just people. Well, it's about people, and that's what I love about pentathlon is people you can meet. Oh,
Right.
Tyler Evans, and he's going to be on horse Eddie. And he has saluted the judges and is headed into the first jump. And Tyler, he'll be going to the World Championships in Cairo, Egypt here in a few weeks.
We've heard the announcers say that he has joined the World Class Athlete program through the Air Force.
Yes, yeah, he was telling me earlier he's going to be headed off to basic training for Air Force here in I think at the end of the summer. So he'll be a great addition to the team.
Well, during the next break, you'll have to talk about your experience with the Army's version of the World Class Athlete program.
And nice through the combo there. He had a refusal on jump 4.
4 is taking its toll on some of the riders today.
Yeah,
It's
we've
the
seen
second or third refusal we've seen on that. So 2 refusals.
2 refusals. So if you have 2 refusals in the same jump, you can bypass that and continue on course.
4 refusals and you are disqualified, or can't earn any points. Is that correct? Hey,
And he
nicely
stayed
done.
on. You want to keep your leg on the horse and keep that pressure so that they can feel, they balance off you. Horses are working together with you.
Refuses again, it's elimination.
So if you have 4 refusals in the competition, you will have a 0.
Get a gallon, get a gallon.
And unfortunately for Tyler, that is his 4th refusal.
4 refusals, so it's elimination.
Alright, so you mentioned a little bit how to try to combat that. So trying to keep the pressure on the horse, let it know that you're there. And
Yeah, you want you keep your heels down in the saddle. You don't want you coming forward. And my coach always told me, when in doubt, you don't lean out over the jumps. Like if you lean out before the jump, you put all your weight on their front quarter, and it's like having to pick
They
it
feel
up,
like
and
they're
it feels
trying
like
to stop.
so it'll stop them if it's not a good horse,
okay.
or if the horse just doesn't want to do that, and then you just want to keep that leg on the horse so that they just feel that pressure. Next athlete to the arena will be Caleb Allen. He is a Mexico Military Institute graduate and a lieutenant in the U.S. Army National Guard, and he'll be on horse Dr. Owens. Come on, Caleb. He's a hometown rooting right here.
Nothing wrong with that.
He gave me the privilege when he commissioned. I was his first salute, which was an honor for me to do.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, it's just holding. You just need to crease the lips.
And into the first jump for Caleb. Looking good to keep the turn.
He turned him into the fence.
Oh, he's supposed to be bad.
Yeah, now this will be reviewed.
No point deduction for that.
No, it's just
the
time.
right?
Time is ticking right now,
He didn't cross his path.
and he's still on. Sit back in your seat. Like,
You'd have to see it. I'm just, whatever you say, doesn't matter. He's going to have enough issues here. Does he have nothing? Has he pulled nothing? Nothing else. He's just going to have time to.
and into the last couple jumps here. Last jump, and he's through.
No penalties on the rails or faults.
I think he should be happy with that. I think he should be
That's the
happy with
highest score we've seen thus far,
Yeah.
except for the perfect by Mark Polk.
What is points? 292. 292 points for Caleb walking out of the ring. Next athlete in is Barrick Selicki, and he's out of Colorado Springs, and he's made good. Oh, Denver. He's out of Denver. Then I pronounce his last name correct. Selicki. Selicki. And he's riding Kudani Rubin.
Allen was in fourth place coming into this competition.
And this is the second time Kudani Rubin has been ridden in the arena. It's a beautiful horse.
Barrett,
And Barrett
third place.
looking focused, ready for the ride. Salute the judges, and they send him on his way on course. And he's on course. First jump. And as these athletes, as the progressing through the event, they're becoming higher ranked with their points from the first two events.
Clean.
And right so far, you got to keep your composure through these last couple, but he's looking good.
Should be in plenty of time. And he
And to
clears
the
that
last
pile.
jump, and nice ride by Barrett. Nice ride, and Kudani Rubin. Good job, guys. That is 300 points for Barrett. I think that's the best ride we've seen today. No, it is the best ride we've seen today.
Well, Mark Cole had a 300 as well, remember. But of course, that in fall, after he had crossed the time of the finish line.
Well, and next horse and rider in the arena is Mark Cole and On Warren. Merrick Cole. I said Merrick Cole. It's been like 4 or 5 years since I was around. So a lot new names and faces, but
That's
it's
right.
always great to see. And they sit on course. Merrick Cole on Warren.
This is going to be
all these horses in the arena are provided by Dr. Lee Gutierrez out of Roswell, which has done an amazing job setting up the course and providing the horses for USA Pentathlon. Coach Jan getting everybody organized and ready with the Mexican Military Institute, so it's pretty sweet to see here in Roswell. And he just barely touched that pole there, but it didn't come down, so no points are deducted.
Okay, that's
And that would be a refusal on jump A. And coming in for his second attempt at it, and he's through.
Good job getting him back online after that initial part of the jump.
Pull down though.
That's okay. He was looking on that. He didn't get caught behind. Nice pull 9.
And squeaked through there to the finish line, but he made it through.
67, so another 7 points of penalties, 2 rails and a refusal.
60.
So he'll be walking out of the arena with 269 points, and then next athlete in is a legend, Amro El Jazir. He is going to be competing at his 4th Olympic Games here in Tokyo in a few months, and he's the number 1 seed athlete. We're waiting for a course to be fixed.
Set number 5. The rails on the ground. Hold on.
Amro competed 3 times for Egypt in the Olympics, and this will be his 4th Olympic Games representing the United States. And he's part of the...
You will be going to Cairo too, I imagine, with
Yes, I believe so. A couple weeks of World Championships just to kind of get some tune-up competing, but his focus is the Olympics right now. Those are coming up quickly. And he is a sergeant in the U.S. Army World Class Athlete Program, and out of Fort Carson, Colorado, and into jump 1. There's Amro. And he's riding Hamuk, I believe.
yes.
Amro's a really proficient rider, so I think he should have no problem with this course.
Doesn't need to go this fast.
Just kind of, but still, you got to keep control and hold down there on jump 5.
It's not going to stop. If he does that, hold 9. You have to ride 9 well.
And into the last jump, focus and keep the pressure. Hold down. So that'll be 14 points. I don't think he'll have any time, but that'll be good for him. He should be happy with that. $286 points. Good. That is the end of the riding out here at Dr. Gutierrez's awesome facilities and of the arena. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, so what will happen now is the judges will go back, tally up all the points, and figure out the time handicaps or the staggered starts there for the combined run. Correct. All right. So we'll go ahead and stop this broadcast and go get set up there back at the Godfrey Athletic Center, the outside of it. It's actually Staff Parade Field, back at the New Mexico Military Institute.
We'll see you there.
All right, sounds good. Thanks again. Great job by Nathan Scrimshire, our 2016 USA Olympic athlete, 11th place finisher in the pentathlon.
3 to 4 mature.